Hi Dimple,
Hello, Swati.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
So happy to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, likewise.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
it
very
good here?
looking forward to this session, Healing Circle Talks with you.
Thank you for having me here. I
Thank-
hope I hope I have something to offer.
We'll shortly begin in 1 minute.
Yeah.
We begin today's Healing Circle Talks. We'll start with the minute of silence. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As always, today's Healing Circle is going to be another special and unique Healing Circle talks. Before we begin the circle, please allow me to read the guidelines for the Healing Circle. Healing Circle talks are safe havens. They are built on the foundation of kindness and respect. We all participants agree to treat each other with kindness and respect, listen to each other with compassion and curiosity. We honor each other's unique ways of healing and don't presume to advise or try to save each other. We hold all the stories shared in the circle within us. We trust each of us has guidance we need within us, and we rely on the power of silence to access it. And that is the reason why we start Healing Circle with a minute of silence, so that we all come from different time zones and different mind zones as well. So it's really important that when we are in the circle, we our not just physical body but also our mind is in the circle, and we are there to hold this sacred space for each other. So many of us, in fact all of us, are going through some ups and downs in our lives. So how can we really make a sacred space, a safe space for each other, so that we know that though I'm meeting you first time, but still I know that you can understand me, and you know that I can feel you, I can understand you. Today we have a very special guest with us, Swati ji. So Swati ji is a writer, filmmaker, director of Satyamev Jayate, and she's famous for her feature-length documentary रूबरू रोशनी. जब मुझे पहली बार इनसे पता चला था रूबरू रोशनी का, तब मुझे इसके बारे में ज़्यादा पता नहीं था. बट मैंने रूबरू रोशनी के बारे में पढ़ा और मैंने नेटफ्लिक्स पे देखा भी थोड़ा सा, और उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि ऐसा भी होता है क्या. आई एम श्योर विल हियर फ्रॉम हर मोर अबाउट इट, बट हाउ कैन वी फॉरगिव समबडी. इट्स अ बिग थिंग किसी को दिल से माफ करना, और कैसे हम सब उस लाइफ के साथ में मूव ऑन करते हैं. सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द मैसेज which I got from this movie, and would love to talk more about it, which not only I believe is applicable in that scenario, but is mostly applicable in all the scenarios we all always live in, because we go through these situations day in and day out. So and she was a primary caregiver for her mother Deepti ji. uh, she is not here with us in physical space, but she is here with all of us in the spiritual space, and that is one of the reason how me and Swati we both came together and got to know about each other. And it's my fortunate that Swati ji we got to know about each other and the wonderful work which you are doing for social cause, cancer, and then other women related issues, of course. I was deeply touched when I got to know about your journey, and honestly I would like to tell you here, जब मैं आपसे पहली बार मिली थी तब मुझे उतना नहीं पता था, बट मैंने विद द टाइम आई लर्न मोर अबाउट यू, एंड जितना मैंने आपके बारे में और पढ़ा उतना I felt very humbled. So thank you so much for the amazing spiritual connection with you. Um, so she joins us in today's healing circle to share her experience with his mother when she was the caregiver for her mother, and as well as I would love to talk with her about if she is comfortable about end of life conversations, because ये ऐसी चीज है जो आपने भी you have gone through the process and I have also gone through the process. So some of the things which we cannot talk to our family members no matter how much we want to, and would love to hear more from you, Swati ji. So I will request you to unmute yourself and please share your journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dimple ji, and thank you everybody who's here. I uh, I have read a lot about Dimple, your amazing journey, and now what you're doing with Zenonco, and what is your motto that love heals cancer. I think love can heal almost anything. And when we're talking about cure and healing, there are two different journeys, and I think it's both are equally important. And very often when it comes to any kind of ailment, whether it's physical or mental, we look more at the cure, but we focus less on the healing. And I think that's where the magic actually lies, which is in the healing. So a big gratitude coming from me to you, for having me on this conversation, and for your kind and appreciative words about Ruburu Roshni. And I mean, I'd love for you to start out, even if you'd like to ask me something, and be happy to.
Yes, Swadiji. So I would like to start from the time when your mother was diagnosed with cancer, because this is the common thread which connect all of us together. So maybe we can start with that. और आप जितना comfortable है आप उतना ही share करिएगा. So because यहाँ पे we all participants, we all have gone through the journey in some or other ways, maybe as a caregiver, maybe as a cancer winner. Some of us have lost their loved ones, and some of us want to give back to society. So, but the common thread between us is all the thread of compassion and kindness, and how can we give back to society, because we have gone through these deep experiences, and now we want to help others who are going through the similar things. So this conversation and the interaction with all other members. So first you and me, we will talk about your journey, and I will also share a few experiences from my life journey, and then we'll keep the platform open for everybody else to ask questions, to share their experiences, because I'm sure कि आप और मैं जो बात करेंगे बहुत लोग उससे connect कर पाएंगे. And then इसके बाद में भी this is stored on the website and YouTube. So because कई लोग attend नहीं कर पाते हैं, so they go through it later, and then people say that it's very inspiring when they hear from other stories, because हम लोग एक दूसरे की experiences से learning से बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं. So this is how healing circles and healing journeys have been very popular, because they say that yeah, we get a lot of guidance and help and inspiration from this. So that is why we will start with your own journey, कि जब diagnosis हुआ था और फिर वहाँ से how it all happened.
Right. So the diagnosis was a completely unexpected thing for me. My mother had just returned from a 2-month holiday with my sister who lives in Singapore. And मैं उन्हें लेने रात में एयरपोर्ट नहीं जा पाई, क्योंकि मैं एक वर्कशॉप कर रही थी, और सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट और सेल्फ ग्रोथ का वर्कशॉप था वो. एंड जब मेरे बच्चे दोनों गए थे एयरपोर्ट माँ को लाने, सुबह फर्स्ट थिंग आई डिड इज लाइक माँ हैड कम एंड शी केम टू माय प्लेस, and she had her own place also. She came to my place from the airport, and subah the first thing we got up and I went to see her, and I was so excited because I was seeing her after 2 months. I said, Ma, how was your trip? And she looked at me and she said the trip was good, but there's one thing that might not be such good news. I said, what happened? And she said, I think I have a lump in my breast. And it was a deep shock for me. And I said that, what are you saying? And anyway, then I took her inside and then I checked it, and I could feel the lump as well. And I asked her, how long have you been feeling it? And she said that I have been feeling it for more than a month. And I said, why didn't you tell my sister? I said, why didn't you tell Subarna, my sister? And she said, no, I didn't want to worry her. Now, so that was the first thing that came to my mother's mind when she suspected that she had cancer, was not to worry my sister. And the thing was, anyway, I'm coming back to Bombay में ही हम लोग, we'll meet the doctors and stuff. So without any waste of time, I managed to get the mammogram done that very evening, and the confirmation came that it was a cancer, and there was and rapidly things were done, the various tests were done, the scans were done, and we realized that she had a grade 3 cancer with metastasis, and there was a suspected tumor also in the brain. But it was in a very delicate part, and there was no way that any kind of it was not possible to probe it and to and since she was not having any immediate symptoms from the brain tumor, they decided that they would not sort of go after it. Usko chedna nahi tha. And two things that happened which I want to share, which came to me later in retrospect. when my mother came to know about the diagnosis and all, I found that she was so calm. There was nothing. She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She didn't say ki ab mera kya hoga. And that time I remember feeling, oh my God, she's so brave. But I also feel that one thing was that my own shock and horror and sadness was so big, na, kahin pe, that I feel that I didn't give her the space, or I probably didn't allow her the space to express herself. Because, I mean, look at her thinking that I will not tell one daughter because she'll worry. I'll come back home. And after that, when the other child sees this and gets so hassled, and the grandchildren are hassled, and everyone's feeling, she feels that I have to be brave for all of them. And I feel that that is something that later on in retrospect struck me. And I think that in the initial stages, apart from trying to figure out all the treatments, and I was very fortunate because I went into the hands of a great doctor, because one of my very close friends had been suffering from breast cancer, and I had been, we had been constantly talking and meeting, and she recommended her doctor. So I went to a wonderful doctor who was very, very good. But I feel that overall now the first initial thing for me was, one is, what is the future? Question number one. And question number two, how normal can I make life? And these are the two things to which the answers are not there, is what I learned later. That what is the future? Nobody can predict.
Right.
And how much time do you have? And there are no specific answers to any of those questions. And the acceptance that there are no specific answers is one very important step forward, I think, in this journey. The second is the kind of trying to fight for normalcy. I want to show you a picture of my mother with my kids. Very soon after her diagnosis came, I will do a screen share. And
I will make you host some time to do the screen share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you all something. I want to show you something, which is,
yeah, you are host now. You can do this.
Yeah.
In fact, जब आपने वो बात बोली कि nobody can predict how much time you have, that reminds me of one of the beautiful lines shared by Atulji in previous healing circles, where he said that, wow, this is beautiful. Okay.
This is a picture of me and my mother, taken when she was fine. Now, this is a picture of my mother with my kids after her diagnosis. And what I see in this picture was, at that time, many people said to me, my God, पता ही नहीं चलता आंटी को कैंसर है, इतनी अच्छी लग रही है, इतना अच्छा लग रहा है. And you know what, Dimple, the thing is that I used to hold on to these things.
Yeah.
I used to hold on to these things. These are the things that made me feel normal. These are the things that made me feel, hum log kuch, and everyone would appreciate and say, oh, you're looking after her so well and all of that. But, when I look back at it, and the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel that somewhere the focus many times, even when we are very loving caregivers, is really still about our own emotional needs and our own need to feel validated कि हम सही कर रहे हैं.
Right.
Is it really that the person who's at the, because cancer is such a thing, it hits you and it hits the patient as well. But as caregivers, as people who want the best for the person, do we actually genuinely end up creating spaces for that person to be just who he or she wants to be, and not our image of what we wish that person to be? And I think somewhere I have started, I started thinking about all these things with my mother. And I think that over time, I came to realize that there is a certain reality and there is a certain expectation of what we want that reality to be. And the peace comes in accepting that we have to take our expectation as close as possible to that reality and not try to pull that reality so close to our expectation, because that reality cannot be pulled so close to our expectation. So these are some of the things that I really learned, in the early stages after the diagnosis came.
Mhm. Very, very well said. In fact, when I was going through the similar journey, for me, the definition of expectance, the definition of hope changed time to time. When it was
Right.
third stage diagnosis, uh, the hope or the expectation was to get cured completely, and that was like 100% for sure thing. But it was last stage, and doctor said 6 months. Still, in the beginning few months, I would say the expectation was, the hope was 100% cure. But as the time progressed and as his health started deteriorating a lot, jahan pe you have lost 40 kgs, you're not able to eat, or lost voice as well, and I could see a very different person altogether. And when doctor is giving you again a timeline, but as you said, nobody can decide the timeline for you. And one of the
Right.
things shared in previous healing circle was, doctors do the diagnosis, but it's you and God who does the prognosis. So आपके हाथ में है कि आप कैसे अपना कर सकते हैं. So for me, the definition of hope changed every time. First it was every month, then it was every week, and then gradually it was every day. And when he was in ICU, it was, I would say, every hour, when doctor was telling me that it might happen anytime. Initially I could not believe that. मैंने बोला कि नहीं, मुझे reports नहीं देखनी है, मैंने 4 दिन पहले ही CT स्कैन करवाया है, and I know there are tumors but not that aggressive कि आज वो चले जाएंगे. But he said, see the scans, and I did not want to, because I was like, no, I don't want to, I know the reality. Because मेरे लिए वो expectation और reality में बहुत gap था उस time पे, क्योंकि कभी believe ही नहीं किया कि इतना जल्दी सब कुछ हो जाएगा. And by the time last, you can say, 5 days, when he lost all the consciousness and when he was on full sedation and full painkillers, and doctor ने बोला अभी हम sedation break भी नहीं देंगे, because if he comes off sedation break, he would want to fight with the ventilator, and that's not good, he will get hurt. So last 4 days went like that, of just him in the vegetative state. And that's the time when the reality and expectation was same, that okay, we should be now prepared for this. So it's a very I would say you have put together it in a very right manner, कि the gap between reality and expectation, और उसको बहुत time लगता है bridge होने में. As you and me, we all know that it takes time. Initial में लगता है reality तो हम accept भी नहीं करना चाहते reality क्या है, and expectation and the hope is that सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. But with time we understand it might take time. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So and another important thing, beautiful thing you shared, which I also can relate about, you want to be yourself as a caregiver when you are taking care of somebody. And I remember when we were in the US, and when Karya family, like Angel's family, were taking care of us there. So कई बार होता था even मुझे कि मुझे alone time चाहिए, because too many things are going on. And but you are living with somebody else's family, so you have certain things कि आपको डिनर साथ में करना है, या फिर आप ऐसे प्लेट लेके अपने रूम में नहीं जा सकते हैं, राइट? इट लुक्स ऑड, बट दैट फैमिली गिव अस लॉट्स ऑफ कंफर्ट कि डिंपल, तुझे 3 दिन हमसे नहीं बात करनी, इट्स ओके, वी अंडरस्टैंड यू. सो that kind of support should come from other people as well, and they should understand equally for the caregiver that they also want space, they also want to be just themselves. So very important thing you share. Thank you, Swati ji. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, Dimple, when you say that the goalposts keep changing. And that is another thing that I learned with cancer, is that, every time what you're trying for actually changes. And then at a certain time, you have to sort of find the right balance between what is possible and what is actually good for the patient. Because possibilities are endless, possibilities are myriad. But what is good for the patient may not necessarily be to try out everything that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of treatments, in terms of interventions. And eventually I feel that acceptance is easier for the family if that conversation has already happened with the patient at a certain stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really helped me, because towards the end with my mom, I had been able to talk to her and ask her that, not exactly ask her ki, should we intubate, not intubate. That is not how we talked about it. Because what had happened is that my father had passed away 10 years before my mom, and he had spent the last 4 months of his life in an ICU, and he was intubated, and eventually nothing really, I mean, he had a lot of agony and he couldn't come home, which is what he wanted. And my mother always used to say, Ki, I don't want to die in the hospital. I want to be at home. I want to be at home. So eventually that had a certain logic when the cancer finally started going out of hand. And she also developed Parkinson's disease, probably as a result of the brain tumor as well. And we realized that the end was coming, and we could have, and we did take her to the hospital. She was being managed by multiple physicians, many, 4, 5 different doctors. Yeah. But eventually one of our doctors who had been seeing her for the longest time period, even before she got the cancer, she was her, she said that, she asked my mother, she said, Dipti, kya chahiye? Bolo. And she just said, and the first time she said, she used the doctor's first name, and she said, Renu, mujhe ghar jana hai. Otherwise, she would always say Dr. Chauhan, she would say Dr. Saab. That day she said, Renu, mujhe ghar jana hai. And that day she was so bad, I had brought her to the hospital in a wheelchair. And, even as we were leaving, I asked her again, Ma, should we admit kore di ma, should we admit you? And she said, Nami badi jab ho, mujhe ghar jana hai. And she was quite clear and she was barely able to speak. So then, because we had earlier also talked, she had told me, Ki, I don't want to be like your dad. I don't want to die alone. I'm very scared to be alone. She kept on giving those indicators, So towards the end, it was not so difficult for me and my sister and my brother to take the decision. Ki, okay, now intervention is going to be not very useful, and maybe we hospitalized, we will not be able to ever bring her home, and she'll be in the ICU, we'll be outside the ICU. So rather than that, we chose to take the path of palliative care. It was still not an easy decision. It was still a very hard decision, but I think ultimately that it was a good decision for her. And I was very fortunate again that I got this palliative care team. They were really like angels. They came home, they advised me, and what I realized is that many times people feel that palliative care is because you've given up on the patient.
Yeah, right.
Actually, that is not what it is. Yeah. Because I'll give you a concrete example. Mom developed a small bed sore, very small bed sore. After the PAL care started, we called them up and we told them, I said that, look, she's got this bed sore, what do we do? So they came additional time, and the nurse came, the doctor came, and they checked it out, and they gave me a full routine. Ki ye karo, ye karo, ye karo, and keep on calling us up, keep sending us pictures of the wound, and we will work to improve it. Now, nobody gives so much effort if they have given up on your patient. So what are we doing? We are fighting for you, but we are fighting for a different set of goals. We are now fighting for a painless or easier release. We have not given up on the person. And I think that brings me to the other thing, that I really started thinking about death in a very different way after experiencing all of this. And I started realizing that actually what we have done is that socially and emotionally and even academically, we have made death an enemy. We look at death as defeat. We say we will fight death, we will battle death. That person has given up on treatment, or, and we treat death as an interruption or end of life. But actually, I see death as part of life. Death is as much life as life is life. And I think that, and that's the context in which I reached out to you as well, because I wanted to explore this whole aspect, that how do we, just as we train ourselves and we learn how to live the best life we can, how about it that we also start thinking about and training ourselves and learning how to die the best death that we can, and make sure that we can give our loved ones the best death that is possible. Because medical science has gone so far ahead, that anything is possible. almost anything is possible. But yet, where do you draw the line? How do you give a person a graceful, dignified exit that they deserve? And what all can we do in life as we are alive so that our death can be the best possible death that we can have, given all the uncertainty? This is what I really started, thinking about more and more, Dimple. And I think that that has been my mother's big gift to me.
Right.
It's been a big gift to me. She was so graceful and so accepting of death. Uh, it was an example for me. She didn't fight it. She gracefully entered it.
Wow. We'll take a minute of silence here, a minute of break here to just embrace what you have just shared. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this, Swatiji. And it took me back to my times when I had to take this call, and I did not know about end of life or what is end of life conversations, because never expected that the time would come, because there's a gap between expectation and reality. Uh, Never experienced situations like this before, where I would have to see somebody so close to me, so loving, to die like this. Uh, but yes, I was in the situation, and I remember December mein Nitesh ne mujhe bola tha ki when the reports were bad, and it was the first time he was scared कि Dimple, I don't want to die so soon. And मेरे पास कुछ आंसर नहीं था उसका. बोला कि don't worry, we are doing so many things, so many lifestyle changes. Everything will be all right, and we'll fight for it. We'll do everything possible in our hand. We were doing so many things. It was too late. That's a different thing. But yes, we were. And when the time came, you won't believe, Swatiji, everything was going well. He was, so 1 month before his death, he was like full of joy. इतना lively मैंने नितेश को last 2 साल में नहीं देखा था जितना मैंने उस 1 महीने में देखा था. All of a sudden it's like he's absolutely fine. He's like, let's celebrate 14th February, Valentine's Day, let's go out, let's do this and that. He would not feel good about it, but he wanted to do, his heart wanted to do it. And we did that. And I was like, okay, thank God. I mean, I used to thank God every morning, every evening that he's feeling good. It means he's recovering. I don't believe reports. He's recovering. And when the time came when he was out of breath at one night, और उस वक्त भी हुआ था कि नितेश को because of fungus in the lungs which came all of a sudden because of low immunity, he was out of breath, and all of a sudden it all happened like without any expectation. कभी सोचा ही नहीं था कि अच्छा, क्योंकि ट्यूमर्स तो थे, पता है कि ट्यूमर्स है, बट ट्यूमर्स ऑल ओवरनाइट इतना ग्रो नहीं कर सकते हैं. डिड नॉट नो कि पिछले 2 दिन में ऑल ऑफ सडन फंगस आ सकती है बॉडी में, जो कि आ गई थी लंग्स में. और व्हेन ही वाज आउट ऑफ ब्रेथ, एंड नितेश ने बोला कि मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही है बिकॉज लंग्स एयर नहीं ले पा रहे थे, उसकी वजह से ही वाज आउट ऑफ ब्रेथ. मैंने बोला मैं आपको थोड़ा सा स्लीपिंग पिल देती हूँ, माइनर डोज आई गेव, एंड देन ही इमीडिएटली डोज्ड ऑफ. व्हेन ही डोज्ड ऑफ, ही कुडंट ब्रीथ and he got up and he was gasping for air. Last words were only hospital. He was the person who will always avoid hospitals. He was like hospital. मैंने बोला हाँ कल जाएंगे. It was midnight, 11:30 का टाइम था वो. बोला कि अभी ऐसे इशारा किया, and I could see that he is losing it. So I threw water on him. I called 911 कि आप अभी just come immediately. And then when they come, they immediately put him on oxygen. And then finally got some relief. And when we went to hospital, they said we'll incubate him. And I was like, what is incubate? I did not even know at that time. Okay, we'll put him on ICU ventilator. Like, you what? And after that also, that night I fought with doctors a lot that I have 4 days back CT scan. It's not that bad. Please don't do CT scan again. Please don't put him on ICU. But then it was already done by that time. Never had this discussion with Nitesh कि कभी तो time आएगा ना. पहले तो लगा था टाइम आएगा ही नहीं, but there was slightest of chance that the time might come like this. Did not know, so never had this discussion. And I I don't know how he wanted to die, but I'm very sure that what he has gone through in last few days, he would not have wanted that death for sure. 23 days on ventilator. My only purpose of doing that was because ventilator पे जब वो थे तभी मैंने डॉक्टर से और I fought a lot with that healthcare पूरा hospital के साथ में कि मुझे please allow me to do my own things what I'm giving him through feeding pipe and all of those things, and they gave me permission. I was doing it. I was giving him Ayurveda and this and that and wheat grass, जो भी anti cancer चीजें होती है मैं सारी दे रही थी कि hope है, कुछ तो होगा, कुछ तो होगा. Maybe जो लोग near death experience होगा, some miracle would happen. Day in day night I would chant and all, but after 23 days he took his last breath, and then I realized कि कितना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है end of life discussion करना. कि we all discuss all the time कि how to live well, but we don't know how to die well, and that's where I read a lot about after that end of life, afterlife. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is my favorite author. I read a lot about her, and then fortunately I got in touch with Dr. Michael Lerner, who is doing work in the field of cancer from last 50 years, and that's how my journey began. And even today, when lots of patients go through the similar situation, we give them options, but we don't say you must do this, because you know caregiver उस वक्त किस time zone में, किस mind zone में होते हैं कि हमें actually लोगों ने मुझे बहुत बोला था कि push the button, let him go, push the ventilator button, let him go, but I just could not, because I did not know what he wanted, and I always had that hope. तो तब से and I understood that, as you rightly said, I would say you both were fortunate, you and your mother, that you could talk about that, and her last days were at peace, where she was with you, and as you rightly say, she embraced death rather than fighting for it. So,
And I can understand your pain and your dilemma as well, Dimple, because Nitish was very young, and when the patient is so young, the decisions are doubly tough. There are no easy answers, and when we are young, we feel invincible, we feel eternal, we feel immortal. How can we talk about death when we are young? So I don't think that it's unusual at all. That it would have been unusual had you and Nitish talked about it, talked about death. But I do feel that increasingly, as we grow up and we become adults, it's high time we start talking about death and we normalize death a little more in our social interactions, than we have. And as you spoke about the angel family, and I know that there were many that helped you in your journey, and in the treatment of your husband. There was an angel in my life as well. My family, of course, my husband, my children, my in-laws, my sister, my brother, all angels. But there was another angel who was there on a very daily basis, and she was my mom's caregiver. Her name is Rashmi, and I just want to show you all, because I can never forget what she has done for mom. I want to share with you a picture of her. This is her.
okay.
Can you guys see? Yeah. That is Rashmi with my mom. Later, in the later stages, when the cancer had grown, and some days mom would feel okay to go out, so we would just go to Carter Road, and they would sit on the bench, and I would be wearing my shoes and walking up and down over there. And these are some of the most cherished memories I have, and a lot of this was possible only because I had such a beautiful person, such a beautiful team to take care of mom while I had other things as well going on in my life. So I think it's really important for us to take a pause and be grateful for so many such people who support our day-to-day life. And today many of them are in distress. Many of them have lost their jobs, their employment status is difficult, their homes are not running, and these are the people who keep things going. So I want to use this forum to give a big shout out to all the caregivers, the professional caregivers around us.
Yeah, yeah, very much, very much needed. In fact, I was fortunate that I have love and support of so many people. Like you had love and support from people, but not everybody is, and that's where we form this collective community for each other. And Healing Circle talks is one of other example where after the circle people connect with each other. Some many times I get this message, can you connect me with this person? I could really connect with her or him, and then that's the beauty of it. And in fact, I would like to also add here that we are launching our community in this week, coming week, which is a community for cancer patients, cancer winners, caregivers, ex-caregivers, doctors, healers, everybody who has been affected or has been a part of cancer journey in some or other ways, so that we are able to talk to each other, we are able to learn from each other, because nobody is trained to deal with this disease. But we all go through it. So that's what we are launching this week. I'm sure it's going to help so many people. And once it is launched, I would share link with all of you. So feel free to join and help each other. Yeah,
Wonderful.
support groups are very much needed. Right, right, right. Yeah. So Swati ji, I would like to ask you, when your mom was going through that journey, as caregiver, we understood your perspective. What was her perspective when she was going through? Was she scared, or how she dealt with this entire situation?
I'm telling you, my mother, okay, a little bit of background. My mother got married at a very young age. She used to live in Agra in a big house. She was the last of many children. I think 13 siblings they were, and she was the last. And she always used to tell me that I was a very frightened and timid person. There's a Bengali term, Bhitu. She used to say, "Ami bhishon Bhitu chilam." I would always feel scared of the dark. I would feel scared of strangers. I was scared of ghosts. So my mother, always was that person who clung to other people. And she got married at the age of 19, and she came to Bombay. She was away from her family and all of that. I can't tell you how much courage she displayed in this treatment and the level of acceptance. And whenever we would go to the oncologist, and she would never ask him ki, Dr. Saab, kya hoga mera? अब मैं कितने दिन जीऊंगी? She never asked those questions. She would go, and he would, of course, he was a wonderful doctor. Her doctor, Dr. Mandar Nadkarni. He would look at her report, and then he would just tell my mom. He would say, "माँ जी, इतना अच्छा report आया है आपका." And my mother would just beam from year to year. And that was the acceptance, that was the level of trust. So I would get a lot of strength from that. And somehow it worked well for her, because she took well to the treatment. The chemotherapy worked for her, and she did improve a lot. And the doctor was in fact stunned at how much she improved, because she had many comorbidities. She had a cirrhotic liver, she had a high diabetes, she had high blood pressure. She was not a good candidate for surgery, and she was well past 75. So what was it that actually worked for mom was her faith in that doctor, the faith in her daughter, the faith that everyone will do right by me. So that was a certain goodness, a belief in the goodness of the world you can't have unless you have that purity within you. And the other thing is, we did definitely, we surrounded her with other things which I think were very important. She had a good faith in Reiki. So we had Reiki happening regularly. I had people coming and giving Reiki to her twice, thrice a week. I also have a friend who's she's a counselor, and so she very kindly agreed to come home, and we had her coming once a week right from the beginning. Actually, right from the time we got the diagnosis, these things we started. And my friend who had cancer, she strongly recommended this organic wheatgrass. She said, "You must give auntie wheatgrass." So we started that organic wheatgrass juice, and mom would take it religiously, not questioning ki isse kya hoga, usse kya hoga. So that acceptance was a big part. And one more thing that we did is that we had this lovely team of people run by this young girl called Tanvi Malya. They work with senior citizens, and they would come and they would do these cognitive kind of engagement and social engagement with mom, where so there was someone coming from outside who would sit with her and play games. आंटी चलिए हम आपको टैब सिखाएंगे, चलिए आंटी आप मोबाइल फोन हम करेंगे. So they had like a routine practice, and they would constantly with puzzles, make her write down, okay, today we will do A words, today we will watch a movie clip, today who's your favorite hero, heroine. And what I loved about my mother was now she was so accepting of it all. She was like a sponge. Jitna unko humne सामने रखा ना, mom absorbed it all. And even the treatment days, we used to go to the hospital and go onco, you know how the wards are, onco ward mein ruk ke, or you're only seeing suffering everywhere. And she would always telling me, ahare অতটুকু বাচ্চা দেখ কিরকম করছে. She would feel bad for the little children. She would feel bad for patients who had come alone. And she never complained. The nurse would come, put it, she would always say, and when the nurse brought the tea, she would feel very happy. And we had a routine, and here again you have to have a balance. Sometimes the doctors will tell you, ye mat dena, wo mat dena, ye mat khilana, ye mat karna. I did feel that at a certain point for my mother, I took a decision that mom likes to eat, and there is only that much left in her life that she enjoys. So I'm not going to deprive her of that. So every time we went to the hospital, you know what we used to do? We would eat samosa. Yeah, we would eat samosa. And that was her pact with, my kids also. Ki we are going to Amra Shingara Khabo. And there was a place where we would stop, and it was like a ritual. So that was a good part of the hospital sessions. Ki treatment ke baad hum samosa khayenge. And these little things, now today I feel ki thank God हमने वो बंद नहीं किया उनके. Thank God हम उतने extreme पे नहीं गए कि नहीं ये नहीं करेंगे वो नहीं करेंगे. I feel कि एक जिंदगी का जो एक natural rhythm है और छोटी छोटी खुशियां हैं, कहीं उसको हम बरकरार रख सकते हैं अगर, तो हमें रखना चाहिए within limits.
Right. Wow, such a jolly personality she had. And I think वो काफ़ी important होता है, love of your family, friends and your own thought process, जिसके लिए हम लोग बोलते हैं कि emotional wellness is very important, mindfulness is very important. So
but again at the cost of being repetitive, Dimple, I'll say कि acceptance, especially क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता था my mother had become very quiet, वो बात नहीं करती थी. She would smile, she would accept, but she would not talk much. And I would always say, अरे मॉम बात करो ना, क्या कर रही हो तुम, एक शब्द भी नहीं बोलती हो, 4 शब्द बोलने के लिए इतना तुमको कष्ट हो रहा है. तुम कभी मैं फोन करती हूँ दिन में, तुम फोन पे हाँ हेलो हाँ मी ठीक आची उतना ही बोलती हो. ये क्या है मॉम, ये क्या है मॉम. Actually that was my बचपना. That was my need. It was not her need. And I feel कि वो acceptance जरूरी है कि I always do feel कि वो वाली माँ मुझे चाहिए वापस. तो क्या होता है, आपका आइडियल इंसान जब आपके सामने नहीं है और आप उसकी चाहत में रहते हो, तो जो सामने है ना उसको आप एंजॉय नहीं कर पाते, क्योंकि आप हमेशा चाहत रखते हो कुछ और की. आपके सामने खिचड़ी है और आप बिरयानी का सपना देख रहे हो, वो बिरयानी सामने तो नहीं है ना, तो आप खिचड़ी भी एंजॉय नहीं कर सकते. तो मेरा ये मानना है कि एंड में मुझे समझ में आया कि यही माँ है, वो वाली माँ ये वाली माँ, दे आर द सेम पर्सन. तुम इसी से प्यार करती हो, इसको एक्सेप्ट करो. तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी सीख थी.
काश मैं उस चीज़ को चेंज कर पाती अभी खुद के लिए. अब मुझे लगता है कि काफ़ी टाइम हमारा ट्रीटमेंट में साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स में फाइटिंग ओवर क्या खाना है क्या नहीं खाना है, all of those things उसमें चला गया, rather than having those few moments of togetherness, happiness. There were moments for sure, but it could have been more better, I think. क्योंकि वही है ना कि कभी सोचा नहीं था कि सब कुछ इतना जल्दी हो जाएगा या फिर हो भी जाएगा. But I feel at least satisfied कि what he wanted to do, how he wanted to live his life, he could do that. एंड डेथ का इतना ज़्यादा बाद में इतना ज़्यादा फियर आ गया था, क्योंकि पहले कभी फियर था ही नहीं। और बाद में आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन ही वाज इन आईसीयू एंड मैं वहाँ से बाहर निकल रही थी, तो देयर वाज अ फैमिली गैदर्ड आउटसाइड आईसीयू किसी और की, एंड सब लोग बहुत टेंस लग रहे थे। तो मुझे देख के ही बहुत डर लगा कि ओ माय गॉड, ये उनकी फैमिली में क्या हो रहा है। एंड आफ्टर फ्यू मिनट्स एवरीबडी स्टार्टेड क्राइंग एंड द डॉटर ऑफ द फैमिली शी सैट डाउन ऑन द फ्लोर एंड जस्ट सोबिंग कंटिन्यूअसली। मुझे इतना डर लगा उस वक्त कि जब मुझे वापस आना था आईसीयू में, मैंने वो रास्ता लिया ही नहीं। मैंने कहा मैं उस रास्ते से वापस नहीं जा सकती हूँ, क्योंकि आई एम टू स्कैर्ड कि मेरे साथ कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए। एंड आई वेटेड हाफ एन आवर और मैंने फिर दूसरा रास्ता ढूंढ के देन आई वेंट बैक टू आईसीयू, क्योंकि nobody taught me how to deal with this entire situation of death. There is a beautiful organization called Zen Caregiving Project, Zen Hospice organization in California. Now we are he's a mentor. तो वो उनकी जो लाइन है वो मैं आप सबके लिए बोलना चाहूंगी। By contemplating death, we can embrace life more fully. We dare to look at death directly and consider what we want for ourselves. We consider how we might prepare for not getting what we want whenever time comes. We trust in the value of contemplating death as a way of celebrating life fully. So when I did a training with them 2 years back when I was there, तो उसमें एक एक्सरसाइज थी। वो एक्सरसाइज ऐसी थी कि they asked us to write on paper 5 relations most important to you, 5 hobbies most important to you, 5 things you love the most, etc etc. तो उन्होंने पहले आप ही को बोला कि आप क्रॉस लगाइए कि ये आपकी जिंदगी में नहीं है। 5 फ्रेंड्स ऑल्सो, 5 मेंटर्स ऑल्सो, कि ये चीजें आपकी जिंदगी में नहीं है। नाउ यू जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट। इट वॉज वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि मैं 5 फैमिली मेंबर्स, पहले तो मैं 6 में से 5 कैसे करूं, और वो 5 में से भी हाँ, किसको रिमूव करूं मैं, मुझे नहीं पता। मतलब लेकिन बट वी वर फोर्स्ड टू डू दैट, इट वाज एन एक्सरसाइज। It happened 3 times when we had to cut down 3 from each category, and after that only 2 people were left. And it was so emotionally heavy for all the participants to go through that. And then the next part was when the host of the circle comes and he was like, give me your sheet of paper. I was like, okay, these people are out of your life. And I saw, okay, he actually cut off my mom's name, and I cried. I was like, आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो। I was like, हो सकता है, राइट? कि हाँ, एक बार हुआ है तो दोबारा भी हो सकता है। And I think that's what they said. By contemplating death, we can embrace life more fully. And it was a very heavy exercise for all of us. But when you do this, you start living and enjoying each and every moment with your people, your relatives, your friends, family, and everyone else. Like Nitesh ke time pe, there is no going back now. I can say I was immature. I did not know about life and death and all. I read a lot about that later. पहले नहीं पता था. So that's another project we have at Love is Cancer, where we talk about end of life care conversations. So in the circle of 2, in the circle of 10, we do closed conversations around life and death, where people who have lost their loved ones, people are going through this phase, कि कैसे हमें caregiver के साथ में बात करनी है या फिर patient के साथ में बात करनी है when they are going through such situations. And you know what, Swati ji, correct me if I'm wrong, कि मैंने देखा है कि जब when somebody is going through this, patients, they are not that scared or that tensed or that stressed as caregivers are.
Yeah, you're right. At least in the case of my mother, I can't generalize, but definitely I saw that with my mom. It was not like that. She was not stressed. She was very trusting, and she was in the process, and she knew it. And even I'll tell you, the last 3-4 days of her life, it was, she already knew that wo khatam ho raha hai, you know, and maybe when she went, like my sister and I were at her side, she spent. तो I don't think कि fear था या वो चीजें नहीं थी, and even through the treatment I feel कि उनके अंदर इतना fear नहीं था जितना मेरे अंदर था हर बार जब, you know.
Yeah. Let's say here, the thing which is coming to my mind is something
really amazing. मैं स्क्रीन शेयर करने वाली हूँ.
Yeah.
आप लोगों को दिखाई दे रहा है?
Yes.
ये एक माँ और बेटी की तस्वीर है.
Okay.
It never fails to inspire me. The mother is 103 years old
Yeah.
and the daughter is in her late 80s. और ये वेस्टर्न महाराष्ट्र के सातारा के गांव में, छोटे से गांव में रहते हैं. और ये बेटी जो है ये अकेले अपने माँ का केयर कर रही हैं. और ये दोनों वारकरी समाज के हैं, मतलब ये भगवान में बहुत ज्यादा विश्वास रखते हैं और ये संतों में विश्वास रखते हैं. एंड दे सिंग, यू नो, वो पुराने जो अभंग हैं, संतों के लिखे हुए गीत हैं. एंड दिस लेडी, शी इज 100+. वो लेटी हुई रहती हैं और लेटे लेटे वो गाती हैं और फिर उनकी बेटी उनके साथ गाती है. एंड यू नो व्हाट, व्हेन आई विजिटेड देम, आई मेट देम, मुझे ऐसा लगा नहीं कि it is like a celebration of life, it is a celebration of death, and it is a celebration of eternity, you know, कि वो जो चक्र है ना वो चलता रहता है. तो कहीं ना कहीं ये हमको डीपली एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा. वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इट. लाइफ डेथ एक ही चीज है, यू नो, एक ही चीज है, एक ही बात है.
Right, right, right. एक क्वेश्चन है भारती जी से. How did you deal with the void after her passing away, Swati? How can we all learn to cope?
Bharti, you know, it's been difficult, but क्या है कि but time does heal, that is one thing. The other thing is that I continue to talk to her very often. And one thing my sister and I discussed, you know, that my sister and I are very close. And she said, you know, Didi, when Baba passed away, we didn't grieve. We didn't have time to grieve because Ma was sick. And we had to take care of Ma because my mother had a mental collapse when my father died. But with Ma's going, it's going to be, we are so grief stricken, much more than when Baba passed away. And that is true. But मैंने क्या किया, Bharti, I set up a little space in my house, a little corner, and I kept Ma's cupboard there, one of my small cupboards. And Ma used to love collecting these little things, you know, things cupboard. When people who love my mother come, I open the cupboard and I tell them कि इसमें से कोई भी चीज ले जाओ तुम्हें पसंद है. So my cousins, my uncles, aunts, whoever comes home, and I've kept mom's picture, I've kept her parents' pictures, I've kept dad's pictures, and you know, I go and I've kept a chair over there for myself, a nice comfortable chair. And very often in the evenings I'll go and I'll sit there and I talk to them. I talk to her. कुछ अच्छा हुआ तो मैं जाके उसको बताती हूँ, कुछ बुरा हुआ तो भी मैं जाके उसको बताती हूँ. And how do I put it? मैं एक्सेप्टेंस बोल के इतना रो रही हूँ. आप लोगों को शायद लगेगा ये क्या एक्सेप्ट, इसने तो एक्सेप्ट किया ही नहीं, इतना रो रही है. बट आई एम लर्निंग टू मोर एंड मोर सेलिब्रेट हर एब्सेंस. भारती, बहुत ही ज्यादा रो रही हूँ मैं. एंड आई हैड warned you, Dimple, that this might happen.
I told you we are there with you. And
but Bharti, acceptance आया है, and I feel कि even to openly cry and say also ना कि I'm feeling sad is part of that process. And I have been very this time around I've been very unashamed about it. I've been very open about it. रोना है तो रो लिया. I tell my children, say I'm feeling sad today, I'm remembering her today. ऐसा.
yeah, right. In fact, मेरा भी I adopted similar thing. जब when he passed away, अचानक से लगा कि लाइफ में कुछ है ही नहीं करने के लिए. कुछ भी नहीं था. उसके वन नाइट पहले तक आई वॉज ऑक्यूपाइड 24/7, लिटरली 24/7. बट उसके बाद में ऑल ऑफ सडन ऐसे लगा कि सब कुछ खाली हो गया है, लाइक huge void and there is nothing to do. And I was still very worried about him कि नितेश ने खाना खाया क्या, how is he doing? I know he's not here, he's on the other side, but he must be in some form, some position. So when I was having my first meal after he passed away, I was like उसने खाना खाया क्या? And gradually I just couldn't do anything. My mom was there. She came 3-4 days after he passed away from India. And उसके बाद में I was like, she became my caregiver. मैं 2 बजे तक दोपहर में कुछ भी किसी से बात नहीं करूँगी. I would not have any meal, anything before 2 p.m. And then gradually after 1-2, I will start speaking, sharing few words. And then after that also, I will take my phone, go out and record hours and hours of videos talking to Nitesh. And that was my way of communicating to him about the life which we cherished and the wonderful time we had. Because during that last 1 month, we moved to a new house where only two of us were there. It was, we can say that it was our home. And I was like, अपना घर है, अच्छे से सजाना है. So everything was going perfect. But he could live in that home only for 15 days, and then he was in ICU. So I was like, Nitesh, we were, and मैंने काफी सारी चीजें तो unpack भी नहीं की थी, and उससे पहले this all happened. And I used to tell him that we had lots of dreams and ambitions, and you left me alone in this situation. There were many things which were packed, and then I had to like just ऐसे ही बाहर निकाल दो, अब तो क्या मतलब है. So I did that. Some of friends, one friend gifted me Option B book by Sheryl Sandberg when she lost her husband, and I could relate so many things with her. Ki how you feel, how you live, how people talk to you, or they want to talk to you but they cannot talk to you because they don't know what you are thinking. One of my very close friend who was with us in this entire journey, his name is Keshav. Entire journey, day and day night he was available, and he did not call me for 2 weeks after he passed away. And मैंने बोला, when he called me after 2 weeks, मैंने बोला, Keshav, I did not expect this from you at least. The only person you knew about entire journey was just you. And he said कि मुझे नहीं पता मैं तुझसे कैसे बात करता. मैं यहाँ पे रो रहा हूँ. He was in India, I was there. He was like मैं यहाँ पे daily सोचता था तेरे बारे में, रोता था नितेश के बारे में सोच के. But I just couldn't make that one phone call to you because I did not know what to talk. And that time, and when I read the book by Cheryl, I understood that yes, there is a silent elephant in the room, and people don't know how to talk to that person who has just lost the loved one. While you and me, we all know that we want to talk about that person more and more and more because he's here with us in his spirits, right? तो मुझे तो और अच्छा लगता है कि नितेश हाँ ऐसे करता था, वो ऐसे करता था, वो ऐसे करता था. And the more I talk about him, the more I live through him again. कि हाँ, he's here. He's not here in physical form doesn't mean that we stop talking about him. I really want to talk about him a lot. तो शुरू में मैं नितेश से ही बात करती थी through phone, ऐसे video records करके, and then gradually I started talking to people, and then I started Love is Cancer, and that gave me a purpose of this life कि अब मुझे आगे कैसे इसको lead करना है. So thankfully I got a amazing direction, amazing mentors who guided me, and जिसकी वजह से the journey was smooth, I would say, after that. And another book which helped me was Unlocking Mysteries of Birth and Death by Daisa Kikera. Beautiful book to understand the concept of death. And जब मैंने वो book पढ़ा नितेश के जाने के बाद में, so I saw that Nitesh has already read that book and highlighted a few things. And I was like, yeah, if he understands the meaning of death and how it's going to, because he has already read it, he did not share it with me, but he read it and he highlighted few things that, okay, that's how it happens and how two souls are still connected even after the body dies. And I was like, now I feel we both are connected. And always, even today, I feel that whatever I'm doing in everything and anything, his blessings, his support is always there. And that's how I think we all cherish their spirit. And we say celebrating life of Nitesh in his spiritual form. Yeah.
Wonderful. And itne baar hota hai na that you find these secret messages or signs that are there. Like you didn't know he had read that book by, Daisa Koikeda, and you found the highlight later. So it was almost like a secret message that he left for you. And वैसे ही when I was looking, I was finally clearing out my mom's cupboards. There's one locker of hers which she never gave the key to anybody. She always kept it. After she passed away, I opened that locker, and there were various things in it and whatever. I said, Acha, I gave my brother. I said, देखो ये देखो तुम, my father's old watch, my grandfather's old watch, ऐसा सब था. In that there was a bunch of papers, na? So I just kept it. फिर एक दिन ऐसे ही मैंने खोला, said ये papers क्या देखती हूँ, and you know what they were? They were love letters written by my parents to each other. Wow. And one of my cousins, my sister Shona, is on this call. I can see her. Shona, my mother had taken Dada and gone for delivery, and gone after delivery to your parents. And वहां से ये लोग ना छुप छुप के लिखते थे एक दूसरे को लव लेटर्स. एंड लिखा भी है उसमें कि मेजो बोधी अभी हॉस्पिटल जाएंगी तो मैं उनको दे दूंगी पोस्ट करने और इस तरह की. मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था that my parents had a romantic relationship. Yeah. Always thought of them as my parents. Arranged marriage, kya, there was nothing like. But wow, it was such a treasure trove. और इतने खूबसूरत शब्दों में उन्होंने एक दूसरे को लिखा. And it made me feel very good because I felt कि wow, these guys had something really beautiful. That was so beautiful and they enjoyed something in life. तो वो मेरे लिए एक बड़ा secret message था, which my mother left for me for later on.
Yeah, there are wonderful messages flowing here also in chat for you. So I have disabled the option of chatting with everyone because in few calls we had some spammers. So now I direct all the chats to me and then I send it to everyone. So Pranav Basu, he says that Swati ji, your mom is always with you, not physical presence but spiritual presence. I believe Dimple ji also feels so, definitely.
Thank you very much, Pranav ji. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Atulji says that one of my friends shared this. Instead of remembering your loved ones in a sad way, it's better to live them by doing things they liked, remembering them positively. This way, they and you both will be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Bharti ji says that thank you so much for sharing so openly. I do the same after the demise of my mom. This was very reinforcing. Sending you lots of love, Swati. Your acceptance is amazing.
Yeah. Likewise, love to you as well, Bharti.
Yeah. Tulji says like Swati ji can sometimes take her children to samosa shop where they used to go with their mom. Wow!
That's a very nice idea. I'm going to do that.
Right. So lots of love and blessings here as well. Great.
Thank you.
Like we are cherishing our loved ones, those whom we have lost, those who are here. And there are many cancer conquerors also here in this group. Atulji is a 3 times cancer winner. So his journey.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And many others. So, and thank you for sharing about your journey as well, Swati. We'll go to, I would like to ask you about like every crisis in our life teaches us some lessons. So can you share your life lesson which this journey as a caregiver taught you?
Well, I'm a storyteller and filmmaker by profession, and that's also my passion. And through this whole experience, I know one thing, that I definitely want to make something, either write a book about or make a documentary film about what I have loosely called the art of dying. And I think that we focus a lot on the art of living, as I've said. Yeah. But what about the art of dying? And if we can learn the art of dying, then can it help us to live much more richly, much better, much happier? So I don't know when this will come true, but I definitely want to explore it. I have been reading a lot of books about dying and dying well, and many of them are some of the among the titles that you mentioned as well. So, and I know for sure that I want to plan how I want to die the best possible way. And I will definitely have conversations with my children in a very happy way, and in a very non-negative way, about the possibility of my not being there, and how I would want how I would want to go, what I would not want done, what I would want done, and so on. Not in a controlling way, but to just say that, you know what, it's like saying कि मुझे ये सब्जी पसंद है, मुझे वो चीज अच्छी नहीं लगती है खाने में, तो ऐसे ही.
We lost you for a minute. Then we wait for Swati ji to come back. Sorry, my internet was a bit fluctuating, so it happened. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. I just missed last 1 minute part, but yeah. So you must have shared your life experiences, which I missed listening to, but yeah. So great, Swati ji. So now would love to know about the wonderful work which you have done in the movie रूबरू रोशनी. तो आपने वो नाम कैसे सेलेक्ट किया, रूबरू रोशनी? बहुत ही यूनिक एंड डिफरेंट नेम है. एंड कैन यू प्लीज टेल ऑल ऑफ अस अबाउट दैट एज वेल, दैट व्हाट life lessons that movie teaches us?
So रूबरू रोशनी is a story of three killings, 3 murders that happened, and it explores what happens to the families of those who were killed and what happens to the families of the killers. And eventually in 2 of the stories, the person who killed and the families that lost their loved ones actually meet, and when they meet, what happens. And essentially it is an exploration of forgiveness and love. And I also feel that because I was editing this film simultaneously with throughout my mother's treatment and my mother's illness, I think it that also my mother's being has also affected the way that whole process has been, you know, and very meditative, very slow, and I feel it really helped me. And so I make documentaries. I like to tell people stories, and I feel ki I really believe that if we can gather, you know, all different kinds of human stories and experiences, we'd be able to solve most of the problems of this world. Because, you know, each one's experience can help the other. So I really believe that. And yeah, so रूबरू रोशनी has been an amazing journey for me. I think it changed me as a person. I'd never thought about forgiveness as deeply. And I never thought and imagined the power of it. And as many people tell me what you said, Dimple, कि क्या ऐसा भी होता है कि जिसके माता पिता को 6 साल की उम्र में जिसके माता पिता को किसी ने मार डाला, वो आगे चलकर उस बंदे को मिलती है और उसे माफ भी कर देती है. क्या ये सच हो सकता है? या जिस आदमी ने आपके बहन को 42 बार चाकू से वार करके मार डाला, उस आदमी को आप राखी बांधकर अपना भाई सारी उम्र के लिए बना सकते हो? क्या ये सच हो सकता है? एंड वो मेरे लिए भी पॉसिबल नहीं था सोचना कि ये सच हो सकता है, जब तक कि मैंने नहीं देखा कि हाँ ये सच है. तो मैंने इससे ये सीखा कि बहुत सारे जो हम एट्रिशन के चक्कर में हम फंस जाते हैं, तुमने ये किया फिर मैंने, तो उससे निकलने का एक रास्ता है कि यू नो माफ करो, और खुद के लिए माफ करना होता है. तो आप खुद हल्का फील करते हो, आप खुद खुश फील करते हो. आजकल आई डोंट ट्राई टू विन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स. I just put my point of view and then I say, I respect your point of view, this is my point of view, and let us not argue over this. I'm a much happier person, much happier person that way. So yeah, I mean, this is it. Basically, I'm working right now on a film which is about exploring this whole situation of sexual violence and against women and children, and you know, including boys. Where is it coming from? Where is the rage coming from? Why is it that there's so much violence and rape? There's rape, then there's gang rape, then there's rape and murder, then there is assault. So what is it that is happening within us that is leading us to, you know, act out in a particular way? I'm just trying to find answers without trying my best not to judge people. So that's what I've kind of learned also in my work, that if you're sitting behind the camera and you're judging the person in front, that person is never going to come across to you with the truth, never going to come across with who they are, because that person is also judging you and saying, who the hell are you to judge me? Yeah? You are sitting there with privilege. What happened in my life, did it happen in your life? तुम्हारी जिंदगी में ऐसा होता तो तुम क्या करती? मैं देख लेता तुम क्या करती. So there is judgment on both sides. The when you decide कि I will drop my judgment, हो सकता है सामने वाला अपना judgment drop करके और आप एक दूसरे को इंसान से इंसान like a human to human you can have a conversation. So that's what I strive to do in every project that I am taking on. And yeah, that's it. I just want to talk about things that affect all of us and hopefully find some solutions all together.
Yeah. Uh, Forgiveness is a very important part of all of our lives. Like हम सब in different relations, different forms, we experience it, and but it's really difficult for all of us to forgive the other person. जब किसी ने हमारे साथ कुछ गलत किया है, आपने बताया कि मूवी में जब when the parents were killed, right? So तो उन्होंने इतनी बड़ी चीज को you must be knowing it अच्छे से कि कैसे forgive कर दिया. I really want to understand that.
Actually, like for 30 years, she lived with a hatred and she wanted to take revenge against the man. And even as a child, she felt कि अगर वो सामने आ जाए तो कुछ भी नहीं, मैं चाहे कुछ भी मैं ना कर पाऊँ, फिर भी मैं कोशिश करूँगी उसको मारने की. I want to kill. I will avenge because he's robbed me of my childhood, of my parents, of everything. And it was only when she finally met his parents and she saw them weeping and she realized that उनका जो रोना था और इनके नाना नानी का जो रोना था, they were mirror images of it. जिनके हाथ से ये काम हुआ था, उनके माता पिता, उनका जो दुख था, दर्द था, रोना था, और इस लड़की के नाना नानी का जो दुख दर्द था, because the नाना नानी also, दादा दादी, नाना नानी both lost their children, right? Because mom and dad both died. She said it was the same thing. So मैं how could I not say कि नहीं, ये रोना अब बंद होना चाहिए. I have to heal this pain. And that is what moved her. So that was the shift that came. I guess we have to just the title, and that is what the title, you asked me about the title, Rubaru Roshni. It is about, for me, it was like when my producer Amir Khan asked me, what is the title you want to keep for your film? And I said, I think I want to say Where the Light Comes In, because there is a very beautiful poem of Rumi's in which he says the wound is where the light enters, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Jalaluddin Rumi didn't write it in English, but this is a translation. The wound is where the light enters. So for me, it was, yeah, इतना कटा फटा पड़ा है, उसमें से ही तो उजाला आ रहा है, रोशनी आ रही है. So I said, I want to call it Where the Light Comes In. And then Amir said, हिंदी में क्या रखे? I said, what do you think? And he said, what about Rubaru Roshni? I said, it's beautiful. I love it. So that's how the title came about.
Wow. And the similar Rumi ka jo ye poem hai, do you have that poem with you? I would love to.
Oh, I don't have the full poem actually.
Okay, I was just doing Google too, but I will definitely share with all. I love this poem by Rumi, but I don't have it even with me right now. The one is the place where the light enters you. And I think if we apply that in our lives, for me especially, when he passed away and there was a wound, there was a void, and that's where the light in the form of maybe his spirit, in the form of the great mentors I found, in the form of every one of you, जो कि मेरे motivation थे कुछ आगे करने के लिए, and that light entered, and then the doors opened up. So नाम बहुत ही रूबरू रोशनी is very बहुत ही अच्छा नाम है. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing about forgiveness, because honestly, in my journey as a caregiver, there were lots of grudges against few people because रितेश को काफ़ी हर्ट हुआ था कुछ लोगों की वजह से, एंड मुझे भी बहुत ज़्यादा हर्ट हुआ था बिकॉज एज अ केयर गिवर इवन आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू अ लॉट, बट I expected a lot of support from some people which I did not receive. I was like, fine, abhi for me the most important is him, so I will completely focus on him, not even giving any single thought to the other things. But when all of this got over, and then of course those things again came back. What do we do now? But I had to initially few days I cried. I showed a lot of anger, not to them but to me only, कि ऐसा हो सकता है कि ऐसे भी लोग होते हैं क्या, this and that. But I think gradually I started learning to forgive them, बिकॉज हेट्रेड तो मेरे अंदर है, उनको तो फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा है क्या मैं सोच रही हूँ, क्या मैं इतना गुस्सा लेके बैठी हूँ एंड ऑल. But then later on, when I found peace within me, through many practices, such as I started reading books, uh, doing meditation, read a lot about cancer as well. And then I like, we are talking about life and death, तो फिर तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज़ है. So can I really forgive them? And I forgive them, and I am at peace even today. So forgiveness, important, very important things. Thank you. Yeah.
Brilliant, Dimple.
Yeah. Uh, so you rightly said that we misunderstand the meaning of palliative care. Uh, in US, there is a term called hospice care, where the people who are not on medical treatment, like radiation chemosurgery, they go there to be at peace from the comfort side of you, point of view, and then they die there. So that is where you are prepared to die. That's the hospice care. While the palliative care is where you focus on the quality of life. It could be first stage, it could be second stage, or even fourth stage, where the entire focus is on the quality of life. So जैसे कि आपने बताया कि palliative care is not giving up. It's like first now my focus is your comfort. So जैसे कि you want to do something in the field of palliative care, end of life conversations. Can you please say something about that?
Yeah, so I'm not very clear, Dimple, ki what exactly will be the form that it will take. But I know that there is very little understanding about palliative care. Even when my sister and my brother and I talked about it, and we were comfortable with the idea of palliative care, but like many among my relatives were a little questioning, and they said, "ये क्या है? दवा क्यों बंद होगा? या तुम लोग राइल्स ट्यूब नहीं डालोगे तो खाना कैसे खाएंगी?" और ये सारे सवाल, एंड इजंट दैट वेरी क्रूअल कि तुम अपने माँ को स्टार्व करके मार डालोगे. तो इट इज अ वेरी नेचुरल क्वेश्चन फॉर एनीबडी टू आस्क. बट आई फील कि आई डोंट नो हाउ, बट इंडिया में इतने सारे सवाल हैं, बहुत सारे सवाल हैं, लेकिन इसको लेके लाइक मौत ऐसी चीज है ना जो सबके नसीब में है. तो कैसे हम मौत के बारे में बहुत सारी बातें बताना, ये मैं चाहती हूँ. आई डोंट नो एग्जैक्टली, डिम्पल, कि हाउ आई विल अचीव इट, but I want to do it. And I guess that if the universe kind of conspires with me, it'll happen that that project will come through. I would like to do it through the medium of documentary film, because I feel ki real people and real experiences, real stories always help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I want to do in the field of, as you call it, palliative care. So it's not that I can't do things for patients. That's not my forte. But my desire is to create conversations about the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how far it goes. And as I said, I want to talk about the art of dying. Yeah. And like many times my friends say, यार तुम्हारे पास कोई टॉपिक नहीं है, ये सारे टॉपिक लेके तुम बैठती हो, रुलाने वाली चीजें तुम करती हो. So I said, चलो ऐसा करते हैं, मरने के बारे में कॉमेडी डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनाते हैं. How's that?
Yeah, I remember when a few years back, 2 years back, I made my sister. So there's an option on Facebook where you can make another your friend as a legacy member, something like that. So I made her, and she was like, when she read the message from Facebook that Dimple has made you a member of, like when I die, she can manage my social media or like something. Because when it happened with Nitesh, because of lots of RIPs, even though I had password, I couldn't access his account because they have permanently put that account into memorial state. So when I made my sister as that, and she was like, how can you think about your death? How can you do this? And I was like, okay, oh, it's okay. I just sent you a message from Facebook. It's okay. So a few days back, so my partner Kishan, so I got a message from him. Kishan has made you a legacy member. I was like, what? अचानक से ये thought क्यों आया? बोले नहीं, हम लोग बात तो करते हैं death की सुबह शाम, तो why not just do this? तो मैंने कहा ठीक है. So now we talk about it in a very funny way कि Kishan कभी ऐसा हो जब everything is like, no, I'm in the vegetative state, please don't put me on the ventilator, and this is what my wish is and all. So now because we have gone through this, it's so easy to talk about it, but when we were going through the situation, it was not easy. This was the word, I will always run away. मेरे को नहीं बात करनी है. अगर आपने मुझे होप नहीं दी तो मैं जिंदगी भर आपसे बात नहीं करूंगी. And I still don't talk to those people as in there's no conversation as such, but still, because they did not give me hope when I needed it the most. So there were few people who said let push the button, let him go. The people जिन्होंने बोला कि कुछ नहीं हो सकता, 1 महीना ही बचा है. Like, how can you decide कितना time बचा है? So many conversations around this happened during that, after that. And in fact, there is one more thing I would like to read here. Instead of focusing on avoiding death as a taboo, we want to bring it out in the open through activities, including sessions about end of life and palliative care. Dying happens, and it happens to all of us all the time. Yes, it can be sad, it can be messy and powerful and hard and normal and absurd and everything in between. We all go through very different experiences of death and dying, because dying is a part of life, and that is why it happened to all of us. So many of us think of life and death as two separate things. It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, these two are connected. As Swati started in the beginning, that these two are connected. We want to change the way we die in our culture. And we do this by talking about it openly and sharing with your family and loved ones how you want to die well. So this is the idea of having open death conversation or end of life care conversations, and a thing which is really needed in with all of us, because just when Nitesh passed away, just 1 month after that, one of my friend of my age only, who was married for 4 months, and her husband passed away in the night with a heart attack at 25 years of age, and she was in big shock. And um, we got a warning, we got an opportunity to talk to him about how he wanted to die. She did not even get that. We don't know when is our time. We really don't know. Nobody can set a timeline कि आपकी कितनी age है, आप कितना रहने वाले हो. So the time is now, when we talk to our family members, share our love, how much we care for each other, and we make each other इतना comfortable कि we are comfortable in talking even about our own death. Swati, please, over to you.
I think you've pretty much said it all. And I want to say that you're someone, you know, Dimple, who have taken an experience of life and you have channeled it in a particular way to help other people. And I think that is really wonderful. And more power to you. And I really hope to be associated in some way, you know, come and meet up and catch up once this pandemic thing is over. And, you know, things are a little easier in Bombay because Bombay is so bad right now. But yeah, and maybe we can do something together. And I greatly admire, deeply admire your work. I deeply admire you. You know this, it's not just for this talk. I have met you long ago and I have told you why I wanted to meet you. It's because I admire what, you know, what you have spoken about and talked about when nobody was willing to talk about it. So it is fantastic that right from parents whose little children are, you know, have cancer and are not going to survive, from counseling and hand holding such parents to, you know, patients who are going through the worst, and giving them hope, and you know, creating a little circle of, you know, hope, faith, healing and love. More power to you, really. And what else? I think I'm going to go and eat some samosas, as you know, Atulji suggested after this conversation. You know, I am going to listen to some of my mother's favorite songs and celebrate her.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was, in fact, the idea of song reminds me when his soul left the body at that time. So we had like a really great family there in US who supported us, and पीयूष भैया आके बोलते हैं, क्या रोती है, पागल है क्या, चला तेरा फेवरेट गाना जो तू और नितेश साथ में सुनते थे. And that time we played that song, तेरे संग यारा, कहीं नहीं जाना. And it was like कि चला तूने किया सब कुछ, अभी वो यही है ना, तेरे साथ ही है, तो रो मत और उसको अच्छे से विदा कर. I was like, so yeah, I mean, today when I hear this song, I was like, this song is for Nitesh. Always, जब भी मैं वो गाना सुनती हूँ, it's always connected to him. और उसमें गाने में एक लाइन भी आती है कि मैं जाऊंगा नहीं तुझे कभी छोड़ के. And then I say, सच में. तो Yeah, and when we are talking, and कई बार लोग पूछते हैं कि how do we really do end of life conversations, or yeah, the person who is going through that situation, हम क्या करें उनके लिए. तो my 2 cents here would be कि आप you don't really every day or all the time talk about death, but you try to understand what they want to do at that time. If they say कि मेरे ऊपर ये restrictions मत लगाओ खाने की, it's okay, let it be. When because patient को पता होता है when is their time, and आपको भी कहीं ना कहीं पता चल जाता है, but patient को ज़्यादा पता होता है. So let it be, remove all the restrictions, do just उनको जो करना है आप करने दो, find out what their last wishes are, and help them in doing those wishes. Like नितेश के लिए था कि उसको कोल्ड प्ले कॉन्सर्ट देखना था, उसको एक बार वो चैंटिंग सेंटर विजिट करना था, उसको एक लेटर लिखना था, एंड ऑल हिज विशेस, उसको एक रोड ट्रिप करनी थी अपने आईआईटी दोस्तों के साथ में, सब कुछ हुआ पूरा. एंड उसने एक बार मुझे जब उसका डायग्नोसिस हुआ था 3rd स्टेज का, ही टोल्ड मी दैट ही वाज क्राइंग. तब हम वी वर जस्ट फ्रेंड्स एंड ही वाज लाइक अभी तो मेरा फ्रेंड्स के साथ में रोड ट्रिप भी बाकी है. एंड फॉर हिम ऑल दीस थिंग्स वर लाइक very like bucket list थी मेरी, and it all happened at the end. It's a small things when we see that way, but for him he was leaving this world, or he was leaving everything, and for him it was big thing. So so one thing which we all can do for our loved ones is to, this is the time to fulfill their wishes, because we don't know when is their time, when is our time. And as Nitesh used to say always, that live life to the fullest, and this is your day, today is the day to do it. So with this, thank you Swati, thank you everyone. uh, it's a emotionally very heavy circle for all of us, and my deep gratitude to each one of you. uh, Shona ji, I can see, I could see you, I could feel your expressions, and मुझे starting में लग गया था you two are very closely connected, and then you introduced her. So deep gratitude to you as well, to your entire family, and
Also, sorry, but my very old classmate, Giselle D'Souza, is on this call. I'm so sure. I'm so surprised. Thank you so much, Giz, for joining in. I didn't really expect it.
Wow.
Thank you. And thank you to Saurav and Lippy and to Bharti, all my dear friends.
Yeah.
And many more who I might not know.
In fact, when we were talking about death, I would like to close it with one last experience which happened recently, Swati. So when we were in US, one of our college alum, who was like, I would say 15 years senior to us, he was like, the moment we landed there, he gave me whatever I want. मेरे पास कुछ support नहीं था, because we were supposed to go to Chicago. We landed in California because hurricane आया हुआ था उस time पे, and because to run away from that hurricane, he was also in California, and we just connected over Messenger once. Somebody from India is flying for treatment, and when we reached there, we did not have any hotel, no bookings, क्योंकि all of a sudden we landed there, flight ही divert हो गई थी. He was ready with everything with Airbnb, and he was like, Dimple, your card will not work. So he even gave me his credit card and many, many more things. Emotional support was important thing which we gave, and a lot in the treatment, everything. And we kind of like, फिर मैं वापस यहाँ पे आ गई, और we lost touch. Once in a while वाला touch होता था हमेशा. Recently he said that, Dimple, I need your help. And I was like, what happened, Jagan? And he said, I'm in India, and my brother was taking cancer treatment. But he also got corona, and then they have taken him to Bhubaneswar, and he's in a government hospital, and we have no access to whatsoever. क्या हो रहा है अंदर, whether he is alive, not alive, कुछ भी नहीं पता था. So I got some connections to some IAS, IPS, and then I got in touch with them, and then we found out that his brother is no more. So he had cancer treatment, and then had corona, and then this is how it happened. So when I asked Jagan a few days back, how are you doing now? He was like, things are, we are getting back to, like it's taking time. But once again, death is what connects us. And I think this is what connects us all. I don't know, हम सबको उतना अच्छे से एक दूसरे को नहीं जानते जो आज हीलिंग सर्कल में है, या फिर जो इसको बाद में देखने वाले हैं. But I'm sure that I connect to all of you, and you connect to all of us. And once again, death connects us all. With this, we would like to close the circle with a minute of silence, Swati. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You are all the people, we all are the people who, again, once one more time, make this healing circle a very safe and sacred space. Uh, Thank you. Lots of gratitude to each one of you. Thank you, Swati. Thank you so much for joining us in today's session and sharing your journey. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Everyone. See you in next healing circle.